you're going to win the game. And we do have a nice little ganking of engineers. I like how the last flame engineer blows up into these pretty mesmerizing, hauntingly enchanting flames. Oh, sorry, snapping out of it. Getting right back into this observation post is now going to go down. Just good, good solid use of stormtroopers. One common theme you'll see amongst all top level players, if you're always watching the chessboard, you'll see that they have their big fights in the middle, and then they have their little passive aggressive warfares on the sides. And so this kind of stuff, very good. Those are good habits. You should get in the habit of multitasking and thinking, okay, what can I be doing while I'm in my base building units? What can I be doing while I'm tweaking where my units are placed in my front lines? This is anti-multitasking thinking. This is, I'm in my development phase, now I'm in my attack phase. Now I build my army back again, now I charge back out with my army. And when you work in big, long cycles like that, it's very easy for your opponent to get a whole lot done in the meantime, because these units right now that could be out there doing some damage are just sitting here. You could, this would be a bad idea, but you could charge on in here with all that stuff and just kind of wreck up the place and exchange and kill a tank gun and, make a mess of things with those tanks in the meantime here. But instead, he's going to build up. But your opponent's building up too. You're not going to suddenly come out of nowhere with all this stuff. But we'll see, at the same time, he is going to catch his opponent a little bit by surprise by doing that, which is, not a bad thing. In fact, if you see some earlier games with Stefan, now he's a top-level player, and that's why I say it's often hard to tell the difference between a newbie who's trying to imitate it and a top-level person who knows what they're doing. Stefan will take map control, and then he will secretly build 3 tank destroyers in his base, and then out of nowhere, he will have this huge tank destroyer flank. Really effective, high-level strategy. You got to practice it. You got to know the timings, that sort of thing. But this is just kind of, I think, stabbing into the dark. So, anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and switch on back to DeathsMotto here, and we'll take a look at what he's doing. You can see his stormtroopers are coming off cooldown, so he's been pumping them out constantly. And the whole time I was jibber-jabbing, here is a tank. So, lo and behold, it happens that this random strategy that was, selected, out of the blue, is good because there is a tank on the field, which he has never seen at all. But, hey, man, Panzer, good stuff there. Why not? Go for it. We'll share some criticism now with DeathsMotto, because I like to point out the good and the bad. All players each one of these players has done something good and quite a bit bad. But I do like the Panzer. I think that's a great idea now because he has a very balanced army. You'll notice that he has a sniper, he's got a machine gun team, he's got an anti-tank gun, he's got a bunch of cloaking Panzer Shrek wielding, very nice balance. It counters a lot of stuff and it doesn't have an obvious counter. But I'm not really sure why this tank is going here. I'm thinking that perhaps he thought to himself, last time this big swooping attack came across the top, now it's going to come across the bottom and I'll be ready with the Panther. But really, I'd rather just see that Panther just sit right here in the center. I'd rather see him just sit right here, and then if he needs to, drive on over and do some damage. But I think it's always better to have a really important unit like that centralized, just so it doesn't get lost, because all these guys are unlikely to be needed anytime soon. So here comes the push. Now this is the surprise attack of the double upgraded Greyhounds and triple M10 Wolverines. Wolverine tank destroyers. Very mobile, not super high on hit points or armor, but they pack a punch and they do a ton of damage to armor. I can see they have 7 against tanks and 8 against light vehicles. So really good anti-vehicle vehicle, and it itself is fast and speedy and all that sort of stuff. So now this time we're moving up and boom! So that was, wow, that tire just came like flying right at me. So this time shooting the anti-tank gun right in the face happened to be the right move because it was a used up, burnt out American anti-tank gun, I believe. I could be wrong on that one. No, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Anyhow, I think that was a pack actually coming through because all American guns are taken. And here we see once again the fallacy of just killing someone's base. This is not StarCraft. This is the wrong game. You don't want to just run in here and do damage. These buildings are very replaceable because you can kill this guy's whole base and he'll still have map control, and therefore he will have income and can reproduce these buildings. So you'll see he is shooting the Krieg barracks, which if you're gonna do this strategy, that's not a bad first target because it pumps out anti-tank guns. But frankly, they're not your worry. And this is a good move. He went ahead and just instantly retreated his remaining grenadiers into this building here. And it's just going to let them just kind of, keep Panzer Shrekking out the windows here. So the Panzer Shrek guy is, earning his money today. Meanwhile, now we are targeting the Wehrmacht quarters, and we can see that he has retreated this anti-tank gun. So here's another big problem here. So Upon seeing his base be attacked, he decides to finally attack this position here, which is doing his opponent no good and doesn't do him any good. Both of these units right now should run home, kill everything in here, and then counterattack like mad, because this is a huge loss, and he'll see nothing from it. You know, trading your entire army for a couple of buildings where you leave your opponent with a huge army, really bad move, and he needs to capitalize on this. Meanwhile, if he does actually leave that unchecked and let his opponent actually kill his whole base, this could be a very different game. So this Panzer, I think, is getting overeager here and really needs to just run back here and kill all of these things. It looks like he's holding on, but he's having some trouble here. He needs to advance this anti-tank gun. Let's see if any of these units here can be useful to him. No, these guys need to be back in there for sure. Stormtroopers need to run in there. Pretty much send everything in here, not just to defend your base, because really who cares about your base, but to kill all this stuff. This is valuable ordnance that is just being wasted now. I mean, we got rear armor facing the wrong way, Panzer trucks coming, I mean, just all sorts of problems. Just not even, you know, not even facing, you know, always right-click around your unit, for instance, and, you know, pick which way you want it to face, like so, you know, which way is the armor going to face, that sort of thing. So, all sorts of bad ideas going on here. So, a little bit of damage, left the Panzer Command up of all things. He's been all game trying to counter these invisible tanks, but he didn't kill that building. Flaming headquarters, and by the way, so what's going on here, by the way, is he is actually counterattacking with this Panther, and frankly, that's not a bad idea at this point in the game. You've just seen your enemy throw his entire army down the toilet and included nothing but anti-tank vehicles. That's a very justifiable time to come in here and do some serious damage. Meanwhile, we'll see that we have actually para-dropped with the last breath of this. We have para-dropped a anti-tank gun in here, which, as you can imagine, is going to do some collateral damage and then get killed. Again, this is one of those battles I don't even really have to watch. And just as a side note, never kill the headquarters first. Kill the headquarters last. Killing the headquarters first gives your opponent time to call in off-map reinforcements and things like that. That's an ability you gain as a new commander ability whenever you don't have a headquarters, just so you can, you know, stay in the game. So you really want to deny him that ability. You want to kill all of these other things first, and then have this be the very last building you kill, usually. Another M10 tank destroyer pops out, gets some shots in the front armor, and then presents his rear armor to be shot. And then, upon seeing that unit destroyed, I'm guaranteeing you DeathsMotto is... Sorry, LewTom is building an anti-tank gun, and yes, there is an anti-tank gun in here. So, again, you can see that LewTom just needs a lot of practice with multitasking. He's one task at a time. He makes a unit, he moves the unit around, unit dies. Goes over here and makes another unit. He needs to be able to do multiple things at once. He's really not microing this at all down here. So just the whole multitasking thing is not present. Meanwhile, you can see that DeathsMotto, hey, he has actually succeeded in multitasking. He's reinforced with some stormtroopers here. They're taking a little while to get there. He's taken a lot more losses in his bases than he can, but, you know, hopefully he'll be able to get these guys over here and do some fighting. It looks like they're walking in the right direction. They're breaking camo, so, hey, good for him. That's all he needs. Meanwhile, he is even going on the offensive with an anti-tank gun. A little crazy, kind of leaving himself vulnerable, but who cares? He's in the base. Supply yard, never kill a supply yard. I mean, really, you know, you're way better off killing all the things that need a supply yard and then killing the supply yard so you can't just rebuild them. But at this point, he's got his pick of the litter. The game is surely won. Engineers finally being built now, so that's pretty much going to be the end of the game here. We'll see that the stormtroopers have no problem whatsoever taking out an AT gun, as I'm sure many of you know. And oddly enough, the the Reich headquarters is fine. I mean, yeah, it's flaming and it's almost entirely transparent, but you know, it's fine. It's there. It's still making things. We have a wreck here. We have no buildings, but it doesn't matter because you can make stormtroopers from off map and all that sort of stuff. These engineers, oddly enough, this bunker was eventually rebuilt, and they are just going to be completely hammered here by one of two bunkers. So this is not a bad positioning now that he's kind of got control, great control over the center and taking over everything. So just remember what is going to win you the game. Because his opponent wasted his entire army and presented and made it very obvious that he did that, DeathsMotto could win the game. There are a couple of win conditions in this game. He wins the game by destroying the opponent's base, or at least by threatening to. I'm pretty sure that he's not going to go around and kill all these things, and his opponent is going to leave because there are all these observation posts and that sort of thing. So DeathsMotto offering up a good game, and this is, I don't really even consider that bad manner, because this is pretty clearly a good game at this point. And note that only after killing basically everything in the base is he even looking at this headquarters, you know. So, but just remember, you know, think about what's going to win you the game. Is running into his base and killing a building or two really going to win the game, or is it much better to cap these points? You can see that Never even once cared about these points at all. Didn't even bother. He just kind of on the way through to killing his base, killed both of these machine gunners. They were completely ineffective. So a lot of static defenses that were no good. But you know, just think about what's going to win you the game. Grab territory, you know, reasonably. Be prepared to give some of it up, and know that that's the case. And you know, think ahead and multitask. These are kind of all of our lessons for today. And parachopped anti-tank gun right in the back here for no reason. But so yeah. That's pretty good there. So I want to, you know, big thanks to DeathsMotto for submitting this replay. I had a lot of fun watching it and stuff like that. So you know, like I said, we had some requests for some more newbie type games with some constructive criticism. So I hope this helps you. Please feel free to give me some feedback on these sort of things if you'd like to see more low-level games. You know, and to all the people who have sent me replays, I really appreciate it. I don't have the man hours in a week to comment on every single one of them, but I'll certainly try to get to the good ones as I see them. And if I don't select it, it doesn't mean I didn't think it was good. Just, you know, there's a lot of people out there sending in replays. So thank you. All you guys are making this game great. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to send me any comments. You know, if you like this stuff, subscribe to it. Send me some email, whatever. But once again, good game to DeathsMotto, and also a good game to LewTom. I hope he's a good sport about that and doesn't mind that we're kind of picking on him here because, you know, surely one day, with just a little bit of practice, he could be great at this game too. So once again, good night. Thank you very much, guys, and good luck. Have fun, all that sort of stuff.